And I'm Aaron Navarro. The polls are now closed, ballots have been cast, and UI-7 News has your coverage for tonight. UI-7 News is following 11 races tonight, races that make a difference in Illinois and Champaign-Urbana.
One of the biggest races on the ballot today is to decide who's going to be the next governor of Illinois. The incumbent Republican Governor Bruce Rauner faces Democrat J.B. Pritzker, Libertarian Cash Jackson, and conservative Sam McCann. What do you think about this governor's race, Addie?
Yeah, well, as you said, Andrea, there's 4 main candidates, but there's really 2 that we've been keeping an eye on, and we'll have all that information for you as the evening goes on. But there's a lot of preliminary polls that are leaning towards J.B. Pritzker, so we'll keep an eye on that one for you. Most definitely, it's one of the most important, that's for sure.
Definitely.
Illinois Attorney General nominees include Republican Erica Harold, Democratic State Senator Kwame Raoul, and Libertarian Barbara Harsey. Illinois' Secretary of State, Treasurer, and Comptroller positions are also running races. What do you think about that, Addie?
Yeah, definitely. Well, Erica Harold is definitely an important candidate to watch. Actually a U of I grad and also a graduate of Harvard Law School, so she's coming to with a lot of experience to this election. Her opponent, just recently got a $1 million donation from Speaker Madigan right now, and so that's kind of been interesting to watch. And the Attorney General kind of overall just serves as kind of the people's lawyer, so that's definitely an important role. And if Erica Harold gets this position, it's going to be very interesting to see what happens with having a mostly Democratic presence in Springfield right now. So
and the winner will replace Lisa Madigan.
Correct.
She's been there for a while.
Correct, right? Yes. She decided not to run for re-election shortly after Erica Harold announced that she was running for election. So that'll definitely be an interesting one to watch. And like I said, we'll bring all that info for you as the evening goes on.
Looking forward to it.
Yes.
And in central Illinois, there's a hotly contested race for Congress in the 13th District as second-term incumbent Rodney Davis of Taylorville faces Democratic challenger Betsy Dirksen Londrigan. Out of Illinois' 18 seats in the United States House of Representatives, there are currently 7 Republican seats and 11 Democratic that are open. 218 seats total are needed to control the House. So what do you think of this possible flip? Everyone's talking about this blue wave, so what do you think? Definitely.
Well, it's going to take a while tonight to see what the House is going to look like after November 6th. Even it's going to take a couple of days probably, but definitely the 13th District is one to keep an eye on. If Rodney Davis does get reelected again, it's going to be a very close margin that he does. But just a little bit about the 13th District of Illinois itself. There are there's 18 districts in Illinois, but there's 14 counties in the Illinois 13th District. So there's a lot of area to cover, and we'll definitely keep an eye on that one because it's a very important House race, both in Illinois, but then obviously, like you said, all across the country. The House is a big race to watch.
Definitely.
We're also keeping tabs on Champaign County's offices. Republican Gordy Holton and Darlene Kluppel face off for the new county executive position. Other positions on the ballots include county clerk, sheriff, treasurer, auditor, and 11 county board districts. What do you think about that, Roger?
Well, it's a brand new position. It just got it passed on November 16th, 2 years ago. So this would be the first county executive office held in the 185 years that Champaign has been a county, and both people have great experience. And I think it's going to be a tight race overall.
Definitely.
Gordy Holton described it as being like Champaign County's mayor, so that'll be an interesting thing to see him take over if he does take that today. Another important race happening at the Senate level. What happens tonight in the Senate can set the stage for a political climate change for the country. If the Senate flips blue, that can mean big changes in legislature. And while Illinois is not due for this election cycle for the 2 senators, there are 35 seats in 33 different states with 2 Democratic seats needed to control the Senate. And how that turns out could impact us here in Illinois.
Yeah, so the Democrats are actually on the defensive. They're defending 26 seats. 10 of them are seats in districts that Trump won. Republicans are defending 9, 1 in the Senate seat that Clinton won. So Democrats are really on the defensive here in terms of retaining their seats. One of the big races that's been up in the news is the Beto O'Rourke and Ted Cruz in Texas. Beto is kind of the underdog, but we'll see. We'll see how the night turns out.
Definitely.
Final ballots are coming in. Anyone standing in line right now will still have a chance to cast their vote. Otherwise, polling places are now closed. Shortly, election judges will start getting those ballots back to county clerk offices across the state where they will be counted.
Today, students and community members turned out to vote across campus and shared what these midterm elections mean to them. They also shared
voting, so I was personally really excited to vote. Friends, family. Also, I was just really kind of inspired by like the role that social media took into promoting like actual like young people to vote. I mean, I follow a few like news platforms that like just send me things on regular through my email, and just like for the past few months there's just always at the end of it's been a thing like polling and for voting and promoting that, and so I'm just really encouraged. It made it more of like an exciting thing, and I recognize the privilege, and I'm I guess more grateful for it.
These three friends also shared their joy over what they saw while voting and also on the ballot.
Excited to see the representation voting. It was different in the past, and I feel like it's finally going to change. So super
Or to see certain change in political representation.
Progress and growth. Yeah, just all around.
I think overall representation in government, if we can finally see more people like us in office and just more people of color and women, like that would be amazing.
Color with like the same, with our values and goals in mind.
True.
Yeah.
As for another student voter, he sees his right to vote as incredibly important, and he definitely noticed the push on social media to get out and vote. And with the polls just closing, he wasn't sure how he'd feel tonight, so he was pretty nervous but also anxious to see when I spoke with him earlier.
Definitely. Well, county clerks and election judges report heavy turnout this morning and after people got off work at 5 o'clock. As for early voting across the country, County Clerk Gordy Holton said that early voting has increased from around 11,000 to about 32,500 since the last midterm elections in 2014. And it's crazy, 26 states already have surpassed the 2014 midterm numbers.
It's crazy to see the difference between 4 years and what that has done. So many people, I think, are upset with the current political climate, so they really saw the midterms as something to take a part of and not worry about, the circumstances that are coming soon.
Mm-hmm. Well, I wonder what you think increased the voter turnout, and anyone can jump in on that.
In terms of voter turnout, I think the push on social media and in the media as a whole has pushed people to go out and vote. I feel like people kind of thought of midterms as something to blow off, but now they see, oh, everyone is into this.
Definitely. Max Shapiro says he went, okay, well, sorry about that.
Well, with the voter turnout as well, you can see all around campus just people handing out flyers and I wouldn't say they're kind of nagging, but they want you to be informed. They want you to go out and vote. It's your own right to do so, and it's easy. It takes, 5 minutes to do, so I feel like this is something that people should take advantage of.
Yeah, definitely, and I know we talked about this earlier in the evening, but there's been a, bridging the gap between Hollywood and politics has been, I think, more prevalent this midterm election than ever before. Just having people in, who are famous in their own right talking about politics has definitely engaged a lot of people our age specifically to kind of get out there and vote. And so that could also be why we're seeing an increase in the turnout this year.
Definitely. The celebrities getting involved, I think, really helps people get educated about certain issues, so that's definitely important with this.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
Yeah, it provides a different voice.
No, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. Well, we'll be back at 8 p.m. for another cut-in and updates on your election. Make sure to stay tuned.
More voter turnout and other election results will be here at 8 o'clock, so be sure to come back.
We'll give you those numbers as they come in.